guys, let's do it. 20 minutes of pure social media chat starting right now. Get the glasses on so I can actually see what I look like on here. This is episode number 4. These things are just going by way too fast. Don't forget some important things. Number 1, you can go to YouTube, our Spec Media's YouTube channel, and see all of these videos. And what else? I think that's it. But you can also check out Spec Media Services, full-fledged social media agency offering tons of social media services. But let's get into it. I didn't really have the last 3 social media 20-minute talks. I had a topic and I was like super excited about the topic. This time I kind of like ran out of topics. So I thought today what I would do is I would just ramble for 20 minutes about different social media channels and kind of maybe share like something I like about them, maybe a hint, a tip, a trick, something that I hate about them. So I'm just going to go for 20 minutes on social media channels and do some rants about each one of them. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is, I would say, getting some like major popularity now with everybody. I think LinkedIn is really popular just in the business world in general because the job market has changed substantially, right? You have people like switching jobs, I think, like more than they ever have. And I think the government really has got to pin this down. Like the unemployment numbers are great, but I think the biggest problem is that, the unemployment number stays good because people are just switching jobs so much. And the biggest job board in the world is really LinkedIn. And my rant about it is there's so much, like if you own a B2B business or even a B2C business, there is so much activity on LinkedIn right now. In 2024, it's more than I've ever seen in the entire history of LinkedIn. So, I mean, it's crazy. The individuals are posting like nuts. Businesses are posting like crazy. There's a lot of conversation. I think one of the biggest things is there's just a lot of conversations with posts going on. It's nuts. Someone will do a post on LinkedIn, about maybe a conference or even just a topic. And the conversations or the comments are just 20, 30. We do LinkedIn for a lot of clients at Spec, and the engagement rate, the reach of these posts that we do, they're off the charts. So I think like my rant on LinkedIn is kudos to LinkedIn. I mean, the team there, it's owned by Microsoft now. They're doing a fantastic job. They've is there anything I really hate about LinkedIn? I think the InMail is a really bad issue. My problem with InMail or the marketing dollars, like I had a client yesterday, a prospective client yesterday, talk about, is it worth it to pay the premium for LinkedIn to be able to talk to other business owners or just like other people on there? And dude, it's totally not. It's not worth it at all. I haven't bought this in 15 years of owning a social media company, and I would never buy it. Not that it's not good. It's just, I mean, think about what you do on LinkedIn. Do you ever look at that folder? It's mostly spam, and it's mostly people just trying to sell you stuff and make connections. So I really think my rant on LinkedIn is they really need to adjust their advertising platform. So I don't think that I would ever suggest to any of our clients to advertise on LinkedIn. It's not worth advertising. It's worth just organic conversations of making connections on there and not advertising. So they really need to adjust, in my opinion, the advertising platform. Do I have any ideas or suggestions of what they could do? I don't know. Like, I wouldn't even say the boosting of posts would do them any benefit. I don't know. I'd have to give that some thought. I put that out there to you guys. Like, any suggestions, leave them in the comments on this video if what LinkedIn could do to make advertising better, you know. Let's move on to another one. Let's go to X, formerly Twitter. It's owned by Elon Musk, which we all know probably now. I think the biggest question I get asked as a social media firm or agency owner is it worth it for my business to be on X? And I think, yeah. I mean, I would compare X to Threads because that's what Zuckerberg did or Facebook did or Meta did to compete with Twitter or X. But the conversation volume on X is way more than there is on Threads. So I think it's still worth it for businesses and people to be on X as a social media channel. There's a lot of conversation. I will say, and this is like extremely important for a rant on this, when Elon Musk made or asked everyone if they wanted to, you could pay for being verified. A lot of people complained about this and just didn't do it. And a lot did. They paid it. I think back then it was like $7.99. Now it might be as much as $11.99 for this. But you got verified. And this is a big thing for businesses going on X. People are going to follow a business no matter what on X just because it's a business. If you're, like NVIDIA, and let's say you're, I was going to use NVIDIA because they're so popular. Let's say you're Bird and Snowboards and you're on X. People are going to follow you no matter what because you're a brand. But for smaller businesses, literally there's a filter. Once you become verified or pay for verification, there's a filter where all I need to do is look at verified people. I don't even have to see anybody else. I can just see verified. And, I really got to credit Musk for this. My rant about X is I think everyone used to think that, social media, what was the next evolution of social media? And in my opinion, the next evolution of social media is paid services. I think every channel, you're going to see every channel. This is just the start in 23 and 24, 2023 and 24. Every social media channel is going to make you pay for something. The days of free social media are over. So I think if you're a small business or even like an influencer or someone that wants to be heard on these channels, you're going to have to pay to be heard. And you might even have to pay for content. I think that's another thing that's coming down the pipe, or it's already here with X, is to subscribe to people's channels, or people's feed. So for example, MKHB, great tech reviewer guy. I love his stuff. He has a subscription service through X where you can just subscribe. He gives you like some different types of content, some insider information that you wouldn't normally get with the free stuff. And it's totally worth it. So my rant on X, it's not even a rant. I think X is one of these channels, just like is on its way up. LinkedIn's on its way up. X is on its way up as a social media channel. Elon Musk has said that he wants to make it the all-encompassing channel. And for those of you that don't know it, in China, a lot of their social media channels are everything: shopping, phone calls, social media conversations. So I'm not completely sold on that model for social media, but this is kind of where Musk wants to go with it. And I do think there's some merit behind that, having an all-encompassing social media app. So I think X is one of those that you have to really, really watch the next couple of years. What was I going to say about it? The thing that I hate about X is there's still so many bots and garbage and fake accounts on X that it's like a joke. The days of real conversations on X, they're still there, But the way a conversation works on X is, let's say Burden Snowboards does a post. Within a big brand, there'll be a ton of comments. If you're an individual trying to start a conversation on there with other individuals about a topic, good luck. You're not going to get hurt. It's just the algorithm is so different now that it doesn't matter. But because there's just so many bots, so many follower bots on X, it's just so stupid. And I think, that's where when you take a look from LinkedIn, draw a line from LinkedIn to X, you're getting real conversations on LinkedIn. And X, you're only going to get those conversations within a brand or a famous figure or something like that. So that's my only real rant about X. Let's move on to, we can move on to TikTok. I know if I don't talk about it, I'm going to get, they're going to be like, why didn't you talk about TikTok on here? In my opinion, if you're not on TikTok as a brand or a user, you got some serious problems. It's probably the most popular social media channel out there. If for those of you who don't know, ByteDance bought Musical.ly, which TikTok for a long time ago was just music, just young kids dancing around doing dances to music. And now it's everything from news to information. I think one surprising thing about TikTok that's just awesome is, something could happen. Like, for example, last week it was last week where AT&T and a lot of the cell phone carriers lost cell phone coverage across the United States. I mean, TikTok was giving you real-time updates, and you got to be careful with those because I think if you're not a smart, savvy social media user, you're going to think that, every single video is brand new, and it's not. TikTok is, your For You page on TikTok is sending you, the most popular videos based on what you're looking at. So, but as far as real-time information, as far as creative videos, news, pure garbage. What I love about TikTok the most is the video could be, and I talked about this in one of the other social media 20s, the video on TikTok could be pure garbage from formatting and aesthetics and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. People still watch it. They love it. It's crazy. As far as growing your follower base, I think that's probably my biggest rant on TikTok. It's very hard, again, for businesses, small businesses and individuals to grow a follower base. I would say a tip or a trick for TikTok is to go to the live portion of TikTok and start, commenting, liking, live videos, because a lot of how influencers build their brands on TikTok is they start going live and they get this follow fest and they give a bunch of follows. Everyone gives a bunch of follows. So it's almost like going into someone's house and everyone's going to follow you. So it's actually one of the best tips, pro tip, of how to gain more followers on TikTok right away. Don't buy followers. There's a lot of influencers that do that. It's completely stupid. ByteDance is going to crack down on that in the next couple of months from what we've learned as a social media agency. So it's just stupid. Grow your fans organically. If you're putting out some really good content on TikTok, you're going to get fans. It's not going to matter. So that's pretty important. Other rants. I think one thing I should bring up is the marketplace on TikTok. Is it working? So, that was launched earlier this year, maybe late last year, where you can shop on TikTok. And it kind of reminds me of the very early days of the Facebook marketplace, where everybody was like, oh my God, businesses, small businesses, and even big brands that we were working with like Nike were like, let's put our products on Facebook so people could buy them. And I think then everyone learned, well, Facebook's going to charge you a huge percentage of the shopping buy. And then, it just wasn't working out. And I think TikTok's kind of going through this process. I noticed that they have started selling a lot of tiny items or small items, which is good. But who knows? That's something to watch in the future. Can TikTok like monetize that? And if I had to bet any amount of money in Vegas about this, I would say they're not going to be able to. The other thing I think my rant is that you're seeing a lot more like commercials on television about TikTok. TikTok's doing their branding commercials. And it's just so funny how they're branding how good TikTok is. You know, they'll show like a firefighter and he's just like, I've been fighting fires for a long time. And, I saved this one person. And if I didn't have TikTok, I would have never been able to connect with him. I mean, it's marketing. And I don't see a lot of those connections on TikTok. I mean, people could say that they do, but I don't see them. So, nothing there with that. I think, it's just not the greatest. Thanks for everybody for showing up here. I really appreciate it. Try to get these back a little bit earlier on Tuesdays so that you guys can get with them. What else? Let me think. I would say, what other channel should I move to? We could talk about Instagram, what I'm doing all of these social media 20s on. Instagram is, the steady branding social media channel. I love it. I think that it really gets the photography and the branding images that a lot of social media agencies like ours can really do some great work on Instagram. It's still awesome. I want to say it's one of the best platforms or channels for advertising, which is just great. You can boost the post, get some really good activity out of it, get some really good leads from boosting. We run really big social media ad campaigns at Spec for our clients, but for smaller companies, we love just like boosting, like doing a boosting strategy every week for like $300 or $400 for small businesses. You're going to see immediate return through Instagram. And I would say the pro tip for that is to let the Instagram algorithm pick who sees your boosted post. Don't try to go in there and like pick a part of the country and a demographic, because it's just going to curtail your results. Your reach will go tremendously down. They'll give you a set amount of reach on a boosted post, but it won't even get that reach. Like, let the algorithm do it, because they're going to show it on more people than you could ever possibly think of. My rant on do I have a rant or a bad thing about Instagram that I don't like? I don't know. Off the top of my head, I can't think of it. I will say that one thing that is very different about Instagram than 3 or 4 years ago is a lot more older people. I would love, a long time ago when social media first came out, we did this chart of creators and demographics and who's on what channel. And I would say that all the 40 to 60-year-olds have moved to Instagram. They're still on Facebook because they're familiar with it, but 40 to 60, that's probably too big of an age gap. 50 to 60, they're all on Instagram now. So, and the 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds are migrating to TikTok. So I think those demographics, we should actually do a new infographic at Spec Media to show where these people and what channels they're actually on, because it's very different than what it was like 5 to 10 years ago. But my rant on Instagram is I really don't have one. I think there is a lot of spam on there, or bots, with followers. Again, all these channels need to do that. That's kind of the dying age of social media. I would say in 2021, it was just full of bots, and they're still there. All these networks, all these channels need to weed these bots out. And I think they're going to do it through, selling premium content through the channels. Do I want to do any other channels? I'm just going to stop because I'm right at 20 minutes. So I don't want to go over this 20 minutes, but next week we'll do it earlier at 10:30 Central Time right here on Specs channel. We'll do another social media 20 and I'll continue this. I'll do a part 2 of all the conversations and rants and pro tips for these social media channels. So thanks for stopping in, everybody. I really appreciate it. Check this out on YouTube, and we will talk to you later.